Good evening, and welcome to the meeting of the City Council on February 6th. It appears that we have lots of new faces in the crowd. Nice that you could come. If we could stand for a moment, please. And Alderman Martin will lead us in prayer.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessing upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all our decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, and thoughtfulness in all our deliberations. Give us the strength and wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all our proceedings and keep us faithful to the trust placed in us by the citizens of our community. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Alderwoman Gould, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could indulge all of you just for another moment, and please remain standing, I'd like to have a moment of silence. A very important person to the city of Norwich, Mr. Gene Arters, passed away. He was the director of our emergency management. And he was a great friend of the city. He cared a lot about what happened here. And quite frankly, he showed up almost every single council meeting and sat and was a participant when he needed to. And so if we could just all please have a moment of silence in his honor. And I thank you on behalf of him and his family.
Adoption of minutes January 3rd and 17th, 2017.
A motion and a second, please. Alderwoman Philbrook, Alderman Braddock. Is there discussion, changes? Hearing none, those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
A proclamation, Norwich Youth Football Wildcats.
I think that Alderman Nash will do the honors.
You want me to read it from here?
Oh, no, please. Well, if you can get them all up.
Don't step on.
Don't step on them. Just saying. We have rules here.
The head cheerleader and the president or the commander-in-chief, whatever.
Commander-in-chief.
I like that.
But stand in front of the microphone.
Down here at the, gee, she's
Yeah.
giving a lot of work.
What's that?
She's giving him a lot.
Well, we would
Public
like,
record.
and, well, more importantly, people are watching at home.
Gotcha.
Everybody over.
This way you could be on TV with me. This is a proclamation from the mayor's office with Honorable Deb Hinchy, our mayor. Whereas in the last 3 years, Norwich Youth Football League has sent 4 football teams to the Southern New England Football League Conference Super Bowl. They have won 3 of the 4 Super Bowls, with our 12 and under team coming in the 2016 season undefeated champions. And whereas all 4 of the teams that went to the Super Bowl were undefeated within the same conference of 13 towns. Cheerleaders have brought home multiple first-place competition trophies over the past 3 seasons as well. The junior and senior division cheerleaders are the 2016 first-place champions. And whereas they have also brought home multiple first-place trophies in each of the prior 2 years consecutively, the league continues to thrive under the leadership here. Whereas this was our first season working with Leanne Gomes as the representative of the city, and she has been extremely supportive of the league's accomplishments. Now, therefore, Mayor Deb Hinchy and the Norwich City Council President Pro Tem Peter Nystrom, on behalf of the Norwich City Council and the citizens of the City of Norwich, do hereby recognize and congratulate the 2016 Norwich Youth Football Wildcats and Cheerleaders for their outstanding athletic accomplishments and for the pride and joy they have brought the City of Norwich, dated this 6th date of February 2017. my coaching start at the youth football back in 1980, and then it was a great time back then. And I was just telling our sons are friends, by the way, too. So, but I coach a semi-pro team, and I have several players who started at Norwich Youth Football playing for me as adult men today. So, again, thank you for representing our city. Your accomplishments are terrific, and we're all watching. Mayor, if you maybe like to ask them if they want to.
Please. Do a cheer. They don't want to stay? Come on, let's go. We need a cheer.
Come on, we were promised a cheer. Let's go.
Thank you very much. We can make copies of that for you. Oh, you did already? Oh, she already did. She's always a step ahead. We are going to, you all are most welcome to stay, but we are going to conduct other business, so please, if you all want to leave, feel free to go. But if you'd like to stay and see how city government works, please do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was nice.
He just signed it.
Boy, talk about.
Yeah.
He just got a D1.
Better kept them here.
Looky here.
That's good.
That's good.
That's a nice way to start the meeting.
It is. Okay,
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
thank you. Because of your initiative, you brought a lot of vitality to the chamber. Okay,
Mayor Kinchy is going to talk about the vacancy on the Disabled Commission and access and awareness brochures that will be posted on the city's webpage.
at the last commission meeting, I had the opportunity to sit in on their meeting. And I have to tell you, this is a group of people very dedicated to making sure that everyone in the city has access, has their needs met, and fully participate. There are, I believe, just one vacancy, right, Stacy? Is there? I believe it's just one. I think there's one vacancy, and It is a really important committee. What we ask on the committee is that you be a person living with a disability, you be a caregiver of someone with a disability, or, you know, representative of an organization that works with people who are living with disabilities. They have, and it is on our website, and I have a black and white copy, although I think it's posted in the city clerk's office. Marixa at my office can get you a copy. And it really is an access and awareness resource. So I encourage anyone who thinks they might be able to contribute to helping our citizens who are living with disabilities to apply for this commission. Thank you.
Letter of resignation from Ray DeSalt from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
A motion and a second, please, to accept. Alderman Martin, Alderwoman Gould. Is there discussion? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mr. DeSalt for his many years of service in many different capacities to the city of Norwich. He served in many roles in the city and did whatever he was asked to do, and we miss him, and we thank him for his service to the city of Norwich.
Okay. Yes, he has been on a lot of different boards and commissions.
Yes, he has.
And I think at one time he was the chair of the Republican Town Committee, so he's put in a lot of time. I'm sorry to see that he's withdrawing. Those in favor of accepting this letter? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Letter of resignation from Marge Blizzard from the Redevelopment Agency.
A motion and a second, please. Alderman Braddock, President Pro Tem Nystrom. Is there discussion? I'll say, again, Ms. Blizzard has done a lot of work in a volunteer capacity for the city, and we will miss her. Those in favor of accepting? And that's unanimous.
City Manager's Report.
Thank you. This is the city manager's report for February 6th, 2017. I personally would like to acknowledge the sudden passing of Gene Arders, Emergency Management Director for the city for over 15 years. He was a true gentleman and highly respected for his commitment to the community when storms and flooding threatened our city. He will be sadly missed. I've appointed Chief Scanderato to serve as interim director and will evaluate the necessary tasks that the director is involved with to determine a permanent replacement for the position. The mayor and I continue our weekly meetings, and we both attended CCOG and SEAT meetings on January 18th. Union negotiations continue with the police. I had my monthly meeting with department heads. Josh Pothier and Tony Madera from Finance announced that there will be a redesign of the city's website provided by Civic Plus. There are no hard costs associated with this redesign since it was part of the original package provided from Civic Plus when the city converted in the fall of 2012. In addition, Chief Daley announced that 4 members of the Norwich Color Guard were invited to attend the AFC Championship game at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Mass. Captain Christopher Ferracci, Sergeant John Perry, Officer Neil Carmody, and Officer Steve Callender were the lucky attendees. They were extremely proud and honored to represent Norwich. Pictures of the event are on the city's Facebook page. No, I didn't get to go. Gary Evans, Director of Community Development Office, announced his resignation effective February 1st, 2017, to take a job with a former employer. We wish Gary well in his new position with the City of New Britain. Recently, I met with Red McGowan for a tour of Ockham. He is a wealth of information, has been in Ockham for over 90 years, and he provided me with a wealth of information of the town history. It was a very enjoyable meeting, and I thank his daughter for helping with the logistics. I attended the Greater Norwich Chamber Board meeting on January 25th. I met with J.P. Marine, representative from Norwich Golf Course Authority in the city regarding preliminary process of approval for an irrigation pond at the site of the golf course. I met with staff members to review the information received from SHPO regarding the Read and Use building and forwarded a list of concerns to Todd Levine, he is from SHPO, prior to the meetings, so that the meeting was held on January 26th. Again, on January 26th, several city staff members, members of Norwich Heritage Trust, and representatives of the Women's Institute had a second meeting with Todd Levine from SHPO regarding the proposal to preserve the property. We again to have an additional meeting on February 10th. Action items requested to be received by February 7th. On February 2nd, you'll probably have noticed, if you haven't been down Main Street, that the Public Works Department covered 18 windows on the front of the building of the Read and Use with 48 sheets of plywood as a precautionary measure since glass had fallen from the third-story window onto the sidewalk below. I also have enclosed the proposed bid demolition schedule as follows. At this point, the pre-bid meeting on September 14th.
February?
I'm sorry, did I say September?
Yes.
I don't know why I did that. February 14th. Maybe I'm sick of winter. RFI is due February 17th. Addendum issued February 23rd, and then the bid opening February 28th. After the bid is open, there'll be another week or two to analyze the bids and whatever. So the earliest the building would be demolished would be sometime in the beginning of March. So it's about a month away at this point. And as I repeated, we still are meeting with SHPO and other representatives to see if their proposal is a workable one. Ethics training is underway. My assistant, Jackie Barbarossa, is tracking those who were scheduled to take the class by January 31st. In addition to City Council, all city department heads, volunteer fire chiefs, corporation council, heads of NCDC, Otis, NPU, Board of Education, Housing Authority, and Uncas Health were requested to take the online course. Several employees have participated per their director/manager's request. Employees from Finance, City Clerk, Human Resources, Planning and Development, Community Development Office, Public Works Supervisors, and 4 division heads from Norwich Public Utilities also took the online class. As of Friday, February 3rd, we actually had 57 individuals who had completed the course. This included 30 of the 33 originally requested. So we had actually a bigger response. Per an employee suggestion, Jackie is working with Gabe Lippman, art teacher from the Norwich Public Schools, to display student artworks on several bulletin boards throughout the City Hall. Artwork will be located outside of the council chambers, across from the tax collector's office, and in the city manager's office. We are looking forward to share the students' artistic talent with the citizens of Norwich. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of the city manager? Alderman Nash.
City Manager, I was hoping to get an update soon of the consolidation efforts of the city.
Yes, I will be discussing that later on tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
No one else? Thank you very much, sir.
Citizen comment on resolutions.
I had a couple people sign up. Marvin Ceruto? I will ask that you state your name and address, limit your comments to 3 minutes, and tonight it is, your comments need to address resolutions at hand.
Marvin Ceruto, 100 Star Street, Norwich, Connecticut, United States of America. After a rousing cheer, I really have nothing to come up here and fight about, but I'd like to speak about resolutions 1 through 3, all of the appointees there, everything that I know about them, I would say would be very valuable for the city of Norwich. On resolution number 4, I would be in favor of number 4. I would like to add to that, I welcome that and encourage more of the same. And on resolution 5, as a former union member and a resident of Norwich, I hope and pray that all negotiations are with good faith. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Rodney Bowie.
Good evening, Rodney Bowie, 62 Roosevelt Avenue. You folks are going to go into negotiations for labor, and I didn't get much off of this sheet, but the last time you did this, you gave away a 2% raise to city employees. I suspect that they've leveraged this one for another 2% raise. Now, you folks are trying to keep down the expenses of the city, and I get it. But in order to do this, you have to take little baby steps. Now, if a baby step is 2%, fine. Working for the federal government, I worked several years, I didn't get a raise at all. And it was taken as for granted that you aren't going to get a raise. You don't have to get a raise every year. Our employees in this city are very well paid. If you don't think so, let one of them go and see how many applicants we have for their particular position. So, to negotiate, don't let's leverage one position against the other in order to get your 2%. And I've actually done this. I've done union negotiations. I've done it at Pratt Whitney. I've also done it in the federal government. When they found out my viewpoint on it, they kept me there for another day. But I was looking for a $5 an hour raise at that particular point in time. We can't really afford that kind of thing, and 2% is still a lot, particularly when we don't have raging inflation. Back in the day, we gave out 8% raise on one particular year, but that was during a raging inflation type of place. So just baby steps, guys. It'll get us there sooner or later.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to comment on the resolutions at hand tonight? Anyone wishing to comment on the resolutions at hand? Anyone wishing to comment on the resolutions at hand? Citizen comment is closed, and I thank you all very much.
Relative to an appointment as an alternate member of the Historic District Commission.
A motion and a second, please. Alderman Braddock, Alderman Nash. Is there discussion? Hearing none. This, as an alternate member to the Historic District Commission, is Regan Minor. Those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Relative to an appointment as a regular member of the Senior Affairs Commission.
Motion and a second, please. President Pro Tem Nystrom, Alderman Braddock. Is there discussion? Hearing none. The regular member to the Senior Affairs Commission is Frank Giacaruso, Jr. Those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Relative to an appointment as a regular member to the Mohegan Park Improvement and Development Advisory Committee.
I respectfully request that we remove this resolution from tonight's agenda.
Is there a second? Alderman,
I think if the sponsors withdraw, it's withdrawn.
so if the sponsors?
If both sponsors
Both?
agree to withdraw, it's withdrawn.
So that would be
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould and Alderman Braddock.
Yes.
Okay, do we need to vote? Nope. Thank you very much. The resolution is withdrawn.
Relative to authorizing City Manager John Salamone to enter into a purchase and sales agreement for the property at 109 Laurel Hill Avenue.
Is there a motion and a second, please? Oh, that would be Alderwoman Gould and Alderman Braddock. Is there discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Could I please have a motion and a second to suspend the rules? Alderman Braddock, Alderwoman Philbrick. All those in favor?
I hereby move pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, State Statute 1-200, subsection 6, that the members of the Norwich City Council go into executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy and negotiations with respect to collective bargaining. The following shall be asked to participate during all or portions of the executive session at the request of the City Council: John Salamone, City Manager; Bridget Marks, Director of Human Resources; Joshua Pothier, Comptroller; and Michael E. Driscoll, Corporate Counsel.
Is there a second? Alderwoman Gould, those in favor? Okay, can I have a motion and a second to come back into session? Alderman Martin, Alderman Braddock, those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. No votes, let the record show, no votes were taken. I think it was Jerry and Tucker. Relative to an agreement between the City of Norwich, AFSCME, Local 818, Council 4, Public Works Supervisor. Resolved that the proposed agreement between the City of Norwich, AFSCME, Local 818, Council 4, Public Works Supervisors, covering the period between July 1st, 2016 and June 30th, 2019, be, and the same hereby is approved in accordance with the provisions of Connecticut General Statutes, Section 7-474, and further that the City Manager, John Salamone, be and hereby is authorized and directed to execute the same in the name of the city. A motion and a second, please. Alderwoman Philbrick, Alderman Braddock. Is there discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? It's unanimous.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second, please. Mr. Martin? Those in favor?